Shalom, Israel. The topic of this video is the edification of Yahuah's true Sabbath day. Again, that is the edification of Yahuah's true Sabbath day. All right, this particular topic has caused a lot of dissension, confusion among Israel, and a lot of people believe that the true Sabbath day is on a Saturday. But what I'm going to bring out today is that the true Sabbath is actually it's been hidden, and there's many scriptures to that actually prophesied that this day would be hidden, that only the elect or a remnant would maintain a hold of this particular true Sabbath day. And the Sabbath day is to be reckoned based off the sun. And many of the Israelites today, they go astray because they base the Sabbath day off of the moon, of the cycle of the crescent moon. And that is wrong according to scripture. All right, so we know that the Most High has allowed the enemy to bring a lot of confusion among Israel on this particular subject. And I'm going to be coming from some extra biblical sources, such as the book of Enoch and also the book of Jubilees, which would give some insight as to the true nature or true day that's supposed to be recognized for keeping the seventh day. All right, I'm going to read from one of my posts that I did on Facebook a while back, and this is called Yah's True Solar Calendar. And it says that the sun is the lead just as the man is the head of the woman. See Isaiah 13:10, the book of Enoch. So again, right here I'm making reference to the book of Enoch. It's a very important book that you would definitely have to read if you're going to get an understanding of the true Sabbath day. So again, I make reference to the book of Enoch, and it gives feminine traits to the moon and masculine traits to the sun. All right, so see Enoch chapter 72 or 71. It's different in different books. It says also Ecclesiastes 1 and 5. How to simply shut down any 365-day Saturday Sabbath follower using simple math and logic. First, the givens. We all accept that the seventh day is the day that the Most High Yah set apart for us to rest and observe the Sabbath day, which means we have a cycle of 7 days. All right, secondly, we can all pretty much accept the fact that there are 52 weeks in a year. With these two facts being established, we can now tackle how many days would have to be in the year by using the numbers which we have already agreed to be facts. And that is 7 days times 72 weeks would give you a total of 364 days in Yah's holy year. And if you are following a year that has 365 days, you will be in error, because 365 days divided by the 7 days in a week will give you 52.1428571. This 365 days is not evenly divisible by the number 7 and cannot be the correct amount of days for our year. All right, Edomite scientists, they tell us all the time that the year is exactly 365.25 days. And they named this the sidereal year, which is based off the star Sirius and was first established by the ancient Egyptians. All right, this extra 0.25 in 365.25 will add up to one new day in 4 years' time. So 0.25 times 4 will equal 1 extra day that will need to be added to the 365 days every 4 years. Thus the need for a leap year of 366 days. The book of Enoch speaks of the Sabbath being on a Wednesday, and that is referenced in Enoch 71 and chapter 71 verse 42, or either chapter 72 verse 20. And also Moses speaks of Wednesday being the Sabbath, which was equal parts day and equal parts night of 364 days, being the equinox or equilux based on the location of Jerusalem. All right. Also, Jubilees chapter 6 verse 32 through 37, and Jubilees chapter 2 verses 9 through 10. Both of these give their account of how that the sun is to be used to determine the holy days. I'm going to go ahead and get Jubilees chapter 2 verse 9. And it says, "And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, for Sabbaths, for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for the Sabbaths of years, and for Jubilees, and for all the seasons of the years." So that's Jubilees 2 and 9. All right, so you will have to do some research on a timeanddate.com and put in Jerusalem for the city to look up, and you can click on daylight hours, and you'll see that on March 16th at 5:48 p.m. that you'll have equal parts day and equal parts night, which is the last day of the year for the Hebrew year, and it will always fall on a Wednesday, not Saturday. So the Sabbath would be on Wednesdays. All right, this is Jubilees chapter 6, verse 36 and through 38. "For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year, 10 days too soon. For this reason the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean with the holy. For they will go wrong as to the months, Sabbaths, and feasts, and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. For this reason they will go wrong as to the new moons and or new months and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals. They will eat all kinds of blood and all kinds of flesh." All right, so again, that particular verse just brings out the fact there was going to be a time that the Israelites would adopt pagan customs and Gentile traditions as far as time reckoning and keeping the wrong calendar. And they would begin to use the moon to base their Sabbaths and their festival days and the number of days equated in a year. And we know that the moon cycle is is inaccurate. It's only 354 days in a lunar cycle for the year. And we know that the book of Enoch gives us the count for how many days are to be in a year, and that's 364 days. So that 354 days would be 10 days too short. Just as I read in the book of Jubilees chapter 6, verse 36 through 38, it said that they would make an abominable day the holy day, and they said they would have the days coming in 10 days too soon or too late. So we cannot base our Sabbath day, our holy days using the moon. So the sun is the key that we have to focus on when trying to establish these holy days. All right, so there are 1,440 minutes in a 24-hour period, and there are 524,160 minutes in 1 year. And daylight to nighttime ratio depends on according to the time of the year and location. If you want to maintain or stay on track with the Enoch calendar, you would have to buy an extra calendar so that you can begin to be in harmony with the Enoch calendar. The next step is that you must be very familiar with chapter 71 in the book of Enoch. So I need to get that verse in Enoch right quick. All right, this is the book of Enoch, chapter 71, verse 42. And it's speaking of the division of days. And it says, "At that period, the night becomes shortened and is 9 parts. And the night is equal with the day. The year is precisely 364 days." So it's talking about one day in the year where you would have an equal amount of time or hours in a day and an equal amount of time of hours in the night. And that occurs in Israel, in Jerusalem, which is located on the 33rd degree parallel north. That occurs in Jerusalem on March the 16th at 5:48 p.m. And the 33rd parallel is very key because that's the region that Jerusalem is located on. And that's how we are supposed to base the equinox or equilux on, is based off the location of Jerusalem. And the 33rd parallel will cover all the regions that you see that line going through, all those particular countries and the surrounding areas. So all those areas that this line is going through, on March the 16th, you will have equal day and equal night in those regions and the surrounding areas as well. So that would be the equinox, the true equinox, or the equilux. All right, so this is another cross-reference giving you information that Jerusalem is the center of the world. This is Jubilees chapter 8, verse 12. "And there came forth on the writings as Shem's lot, the middle of the earth, which he should take as an inheritance for himself, and for his sons, and for the generations of eternity. For the middle of the mountain range of Rapha, from the mouth of the waters from the river Tina, and his portion goes toward the west through the midst of this river, and it extends till it reaches the water of the abysses, out of which this river goes forth and pours its waters into the sea of Miat. And this river flows into the Great Sea." All right, so the Great Sea is the Mediterranean Sea. So this is one of the 4 sons of Noah. After the flood, after they got off the ark, Noah gave the blessings, and he gave the lands that his 4 sons would occupy. And Shem, of course, is the line that the Israelites would issue forth from, and all of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and also ultimately ending in Yahush's birth. So it prophesied that Shem would have the land that is Israel and parts of Egypt. So this was the Holy Land that was prophesied in the book of Jubilees that Noah gave to his son Shem. And we have the account of Galatians 4:26. It says, "But Jerusalem is above, which is free, which is the mother of us all." And there are extra biblical writings that say that Jerusalem actually is the location of the Garden of Eden. So that's how Jerusalem could be the mother of us all. And it's also, again, like I said, the center of the world. And we should also know by this time that the earth is not a sphere, it's not round, a globe, but it is a flat surface. And you can see by the three lines pictured in this particular picture, we have the Tropic of Capricorn, and we have the equator and the Tropic of Cancer. And the sun, as it goes around the flat earth, it mainly stays within these three lines, these three circles as it circles the flat earth. And Jerusalem, which is the key part that we need to keep in mind here, is located right above this the equator line, the equator circle right here. And as I said before, on March the 16th, which is the true equinox or equilux located in Jerusalem, we have equal parts day and equal parts night. And for all those regions that lie on the 33rd parallel, you would have that equal parts day and equal parts night. And the very next day, and that would be the 364th day, by the way, and the very next day would be the first day of the year, or Abib the first. So that 364th day, that represents the last day of the year that you would have equal parts day and equal parts night. And the next day, our ancestors celebrated the New Year, Rosh Hashanah, which would be March the 16th on the Gregorian calendar. All right, so I'm going to pick up again where I left off after I read Jubilees 6, 36 through 38, and Jubilees 2 and 9. And I made the reference here that you would have to go to timeanddate.com. Now, if you go to timeanddate.com, you can just do this research yourself. And you just type in the location, which would, of course, be Jerusalem, Israel. This is the equinox or equinox location. You type that in, and you go down to March the 16th. And you see at March the 16th, we have length of days and length of daylight hours and length of nighttime hours. You see it being at 11 hours and 59 minutes and 19 seconds. That is the 12-hour demarcation. That's the 12-hour demarcation mark for equal parts day and equal parts night, which is March the 16th again. So the very next day would be the first day of the year. So again, you can go to timeanddate.com. You type in the location here, Jerusalem, and you type in the month here, March, and then you go down to the 16th day, March the 16th, and you see that you have 12 hours here, 11 hours and 59 minutes and 19 seconds. That's as close as you're going to get 12 hours, as long as it doesn't go over 12 hours and it's not, beneath 11 hours and 58 minutes. That is the equal parts day and equal parts night. And it's not going to be, if you look at March the 22nd down here or the 23rd, you see that that day is not equal daylight hours and equal nighttime hours. That time is 12 hours and 11 minutes on the 22nd, and the 23rd here is 12 hours and 13 minutes. Even the 20th, any of these days from the March the 20th through the 23rd, which the Edomite scientists would tell you that is the vernal equinox. All of these days are too long and do not give you a true equal parts day and equal parts night that is mentioned in the book of Enoch, which would be the last day of the year. All right, so again, we know that Israel is the center of the world. That's why we base everything off the count or the location of Israel. We base the equinox off the location, the equinox and the equilux off the location of Israel. We gave you the verses in Galatians 4 and 26. And this is just another picture giving you an example of the equinox and the line of the equator and the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. right, so now I want to make a little bit of a link to some of the pagans and their customs and how that they tried to push their tradition upon the Israelites. Let's see here. All right, this is an image of the ancient Romans, the gods that the ancient Romans had for the days of the week. You see these 7 gods listed here. The first god with the sickle in his hand is the god Saturn, which we get the name for Saturday. So this particular god Saturn, he used to hold the place in the Roman Empire for the first day of the week. All right, the second god, a false god that's listed here, is the god Sol, and this is the Latin name for the god for the sun, and they had this particular god for the second day of the week initially. The third image is the picture of Luna, and this particular goddess Luna represented the moon, and she was worshipped as well, and she held the place for the third day of the week. Next, after Luna, we have the Roman god Mars, and this god Mars was a god of war, and he was also worshipped by the Romans, and he held the place for the fourth day of the week. After Mars, we had the Roman god Mercury, and he held the fifth day of the week. And after Mercury, we had the Roman god Jupiter, and he held the sixth day of the week position. And the last day of the week was held by the Roman goddess Venus. And the Roman Empire forced these particular gods on all of the people that they subjugated. And so these people had to submit and actually arrange the days of the week in harmony with what the Romans worshipped and how the Romans organized the days of the week into. All right, this is another image of a Roman goddess. The big female in the middle, her name is the goddess Tutela. And she has 2 wings on her back, and the 2 wings support the 7 gods that the Romans worshipped and that they attributed to the 7 days of the week. And again, we see that the first god mentioned or pictured here is the god Saturn. And this particular god, at one point, from 27 BC up until around 321 AD, this particular god, he held the place of the first day of the week in the Roman weekday. And I already went over all the other names of the gods, and they are Saturn, Sol, Luna, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus. And those were the 7 gods for the 7 days of the week. And again, like I said, they forced these particular gods on the people that they subjected, which included the Israelites. So in 321 AD, I want to make that point that the Roman Emperor Constantine, he switched the order of the days of the week, and he put the Roman god Sol, which is the sun, he put that god in the position of the first day of the week. And when he did that, he caused all the other gods to shift over one. So the god for the 7th day of the week, used to be initially in the Roman pantheon, as far as their days of the week were concerned, it used to be the goddess Venus. But because Constantine switched these gods around, and he switched the order of the days of the week around, Venus was all the gods were shifted over one day. So Venus used to be the 7th day, and she is now represented as the 6th day. So again, that happened in 321 AD, where the Romans made Saturday the last day of the week, the 7th day of the week, when it used to be the first day of the week, going back to 27 BC in the Roman period, when they had the Roman goddess Saturn which is Saturday. The name Saturday is based off of. And we have, even today, in our customs, Christmas, which is based off of the Roman pagan holiday Saturnalia. And it's held at the same time that we hold Christmas, December the 25th. And the Romans would celebrate this day by giving gifts, and they would drink and have sex and orgies, just all kinds of crazy things that these pagans would do to honor their particular pagan gods. So again, that is giving you some history of how the Romans changed the order of the days of the week, and they forced these days upon the Israelites as well as all the other kingdoms that they had conquered and had dominion and control over. Okay, so if you're an Israelite, you need to study and learn about the sons of Zadok. Now, these were Levite priests, the sons of Aaron, who, after the Second Temple period, after our captivity, because you remember we were in captivity for 70 years in Babylon, and these Babylonians, they influenced our people. And some of our people began to pick up some bad customs, which is one of which was following the new moon, to track holy days. So eventually, this particular bad characteristic began to rear its head. And by the time of the first century BC, these sons of Zadok, they seen some of these practices trying to sneak in as far as orienting our holy days and tracking holy days by using the new moon. So these particular people, these sons of Zadok, they left Jerusalem and they went to the outskirts of Jerusalem into the Dead Sea regions, and they began to have their own congregations and people, and they had their own writings, and they kept their records, the true records of Scripture, and they just lived lives like monks, and they took vows of poverty, and they fasted oftentimes. And so these people, they kept to the truth following, which was based in the holy days, based off of the sun. So our people always use the sun. Even if you go back to Scripture in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, you see that it says that he gave us two lights, and he said that the lights were to control the days, the seasons. And of course, you should know that the sun controls the day, the sun controls the seasons. The moon is not used in controlling the days or the seasons. So that's the sun. That's the sun's job. So again, also we have the record of our people conquering the Edomites, which were in the region of Idumea. And this happened in 129 BC. And we forced these people to convert to so-called Judaism. And these people ended up taking the kingdom from us. So by the time of 37 BC, we had Herod. He was able to wrestle the control of Israel from the Israelites. And he was made into a king over Israel. And the Herods, they ruled over Israel for 100 years, from 37 BC up until 70 AD, when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem. And by this particular Herod being king, he allowed some of his people to infiltrate into the government and into the priesthood. And these people, again, they embraced this moon, and they would use the moon more and more to determine holy days. And they had their own holy days, which was separate from the sons of Zadok, or the Essenes. And these were the people that documented the Dead Sea Scrolls. Find that. All right, so this is an image of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And these were discovered in 1947. And these were records of all of the books of the Bible, including we had the records of the book of Enoch. So we had so many records that informing us of how these people, how we track the time. And it's documented that these people, these Essenes, the sons of Zadok, they track time using the sun. And again, the sun, as mentioned in the book of Enoch, chapter 71, it said that the sun and the total number of the days in the year based off the sun is 364 days. And we see that we have 365 days in the calendar year today. And that number of days, of course, will throw off the order and the cycle of the days of the week. So it's just a big mess that the Gentiles have gotten us into. We follow pagan calendars and trying to use pagan calendars to keep holy days and keep the Sabbath day. And if you use it, like I said, you will go wrong. Yeah. So again, you need to make yourself familiar with the book of Enoch, especially chapter 71, where it mentions the breakdown for the days, and it gives you also how many days are to be in each month. And they had, we had 12 months in a year. We had, 8 months with 30 days in it, and we had 4 days with 31 days in it. And the 4 days that we had, they had 31 days in it. Those were what they call intercalary days, and they represented the division of the seasons of the years. So it's 364 days. It's not 365 days. If you try to do that, keep a 365-day calendar, it will make your Sabbath day be on a different day each year. And we also have the record of Sanhedrin priest Hillel II. And this guy was around in 359 AD. And he made Saturday the permanent Sabbath day for the Jews. And because before that time they would remember I had told you guys of how that our people allowed false teachings to infiltrate into our teaching, and we began to base the Sabbath day based off the moon. So this particular guy, Hillel II, in 359 AD, he made Saturday the permanent holy day, and for the Jews. And like I said before that, it was always based off of the new moon. So whenever they would have the new moon, and the Sabbath would be 7 days or after that particular sighting of the new moon. So you have to know the history of the Sabbath and how these people affected how our people track time and how we kept our feast days. And you have to know the people that tried to influence that. For we do have the record of Daniel chapter 7 verse 25, and how that the enemy would try to change times and laws. We know that he would do that. So it was already prophesied. It was also prophesied in the book of Amos that we would forget the Sabbath day, but the Most High always kept a remnant of people that he kept in the knowledge of the truth. But as always, you have to study to show yourself approved, which is documented in the book of Timothy, 2 Timothy 2:15. You have to study to show yourself approved. And you always have to use precept upon precept, and you got to be willing to go into some of the extra biblical books to get an understanding, because like the book of Jubilees, you're not going to find that. You'll find a lot more information in the book of Jubilees and also in the book of Enoch, and get an understanding about these holy days and the Sabbath day. And you can't be scared to go into those books and let people try to influence you to stay away from those books. You got to go into those books and get the truth, because it's in there. And the Bible makes reference to a lot of these books. So don't be scared to go into these books and try to find out what the true Sabbath day is. So again, we see that the book of Enoch gives us the account on how to track the holy days. And we know that these pagans, they gave us the false days for the week, the names for the days of the week, and we know that they rearranged the order of the days of the week. So you got to be able to go and track your own time. Like I said, you can just go to Jerusalem. Or you can go to timeanddate.com and you can put in the location, Jerusalem being the city. If you're trying to find the equinox or equilux, you put in that for the location, and you just type in the month of March, because you know that's when you're going to have the equinox or equilux. And you go down to the 16th, and you see that is the day that we have the equal parts day and equal parts night. And we know that Scripture said that is the last day of the year. That's the 364th day. And we know that 7 goes equally into 364. 52 times. So we got 52 weeks in a year. We have 7 days in the week, and everything is going to line up precisely, and there's not going to have to be any leap years and all this and that with these Gentiles and Caucasians have us, adding and subtracting days, just crazy. We already had a perfect system, and we need to go back to it and just trust the Most High and stop following after the traditions of these Gentiles and trying to, have our holy days. So again, we have the sons of Zadok, which were known as the Essenes. They gave us the record of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they tell us that these days had the 364 days in a year, and they also tell us that the Sabbath day was on a Wednesday, and so you have to have that understanding if you want to get this true. And the books that you need most to focus on is Jubilees and the Book of Enoch. All right. All right. Thank you. Shalom.